Hi Virgo, and welcome to your November 2020 astrology scope and tarot scope. Mercury, your ruler, goes direct on the 3rd of November, but that is not the only good news in November. Mars also goes direct on the 13th in Aries, which has been a very deep and dark place for you to really pull yourself through your own self-sabotaging behaviors and where you've maybe been selling yourself short or protecting yourself unnecessarily from more intimate connections. The new moon on the 15th is a beautiful new moon. It is a reset, and it's occurring in your third house of communication, verbalization, and all of that is positively aspecting Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in your sector of joy, of fun, of true love, of children, of romance, of creativity, of pleasure, and a little bit of drama, but all in a good way. This new moon is incredibly positive, and it is an accumulation of the energies we've learned this year, the things we've come to understand about ourselves. Now it is the new start, it is the new beginning. That Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is touched by this new moon in a way that is helping you recognize where you would like to incorporate more joy, more fun, and more pleasure into your life, where you've maybe been working that little bit too hard, and now is time to reap some of those rewards. Venus enters Scorpio on the 21st, meaning that a lot of you could have luck meeting people online or communicating, or even meeting people close to home through your neighborhood, or deepening connections in those areas. The sun shifts into Sagittarius on the 21st, which is going to bring a lot of illumination to your family life, healing family relationships, and spending more time at home, which is quite likely for a lot of people at the moment, obviously. But the full moon in Gemini is an eclipse. It's well aspected by the ruler of that full moon, which is your ruler, bringing a wonderful change and possibly some very interesting news to your career life, Virgo. Let's get into your cards.
Hi Virgo, welcome to your November 2020 tarot. Let's have a little look and see what we... the Eight of Pentacles. Both Mercury and Mars go direct this month. But not only that, so does Neptune. And this new sense of movement is kind of slow to begin with. But November is the beginning of a very important journey for you in terms of how you reach the goals that you want to reach. Mercury goes direct in Libra, your second house of finances. Mars goes direct in your 8th house, your joint finances. Ooh, the Tower, there's Mars. And Neptune goes direct in your partnership sector. The Tower, that energy of realizing that you can't continue to do what you've always done in a way that is self-sabotaging, in a way that is too contrary even for you. You're ready to change your habits, to change your behaviors, and to rebuild on a footing that makes a lot more sense. The Five of Cups shows you where you've gone wrong in the past. It shows you where you have mourned the loss of something that you really wanted, but you realize in not having it anymore that you can actually not only achieve what it is that you wanted by doing it differently, but possibly achieve something greater. And a lot of it is down to the way that you articulate yourself, the way that you articulate your needs, the way that you articulate how you feel, and the way that you enjoy yourself is about to change from the 15th. King of Swords, Justice, Judgment, Queen of Swords, and the Four of Wands. Absolutely beautiful. I have to say, a lot of people ask me what my favorite tarot card is. I can't pick one, but that Four of Wands is definitely up there with one of my absolute favorites, clarified by that Five of Cups and by the Page of Pentacles. Now, I don't really leave it on court cards, so High Priestess. Yes, we have Neptune here. And the Seven of Cups underneath. You will feel, when the new moon puts its final touch on that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, Virgo, you'll feel the fresh air, and you so desperately will want that, but you will need it more than anything else. You need that fresh air. You need that cracking open of the windows and letting the new in. A lot of you have been dealing maybe quite closely with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Libra, or a Gemini, particularly Libra, where there's been challenging moments, possibly based on that different intellectual reasoning that you have with the air signs. Although you come very close in the way that you articulate yourself, you usually like to make your decisions based on much more solid ground, I suppose. That's not to say either of you are wrong, but there seems to have been some kind of challenge for many of you with the air signs. And I think it would make you feel a lot better to see that the Four of Wands energy is that cooperation, collaboration, working together, understanding each other. And it comes from this judgment moment. So when I see judgment in the positive, and I see judgment as what's working for you, I see it as a revelation of a reckoning. For many people, that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, as well as obviously the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, this new moon is that, it's that moment of change. It's that moment of, hey, I didn't put you through all of this for nothing. If you've come out of it, this is the point where you get to say, I learned something. Saturn has never been more, it's never been as tough on the world, at least not recently. But it's that wonderful point of when Saturn and Jupiter are in the same sign and how they do leave you with a gift, and this new moon is that moment. I can see it here with judgment, that Pluto aspect, Pluto being in your 5th house of pleasure, of love, of romance, of creativity, of joy. It's joy that I'm seeing for you. It's that feeling of, whoa, I've been really very hard on myself. I've been really holding myself to this justice standard. I've been really disciplined. I've really been working hard and thinking, I'm going to change things up. But Virgo, you can never change things up without having some lingering regret, can you? That 5 of Cups, that I wish I'd done this sooner, or I wish I'd figured this out earlier, or I wish I had. Should have, would have, could have. You can't help yourself whenever you're in those positions sometimes, I think, when things start to go well of, but. And it's just your sound intellectual reasoning. It doesn't mean you're wrong to do so. It's because you do things to the letter most parts. But Neptune going direct has a different story for you. All this time Neptune has been asking you just to tap into your intuition a little bit more. And Jupiter has been trying to get you to have a bit more fun. And you'll be able to access a level of joy that I don't think you've had in a while after the middle of November. And yes, it's not without its 5 of Cups. I wish I'd done this sooner, or I wish I'd felt this sooner, or I wish I'd realized this sooner. But that new moon is to say you've learned something very important this year, and it's a lot to do with your relationships. It's a lot to do with your career. It's a lot to do with how you relate to other people. And going forward, I think you want to be a lot more connected. I think you want to be a lot more open to those connections, to those friendships, to those relationships, to those deepening moments that for a long time have felt a little unproductive. And perhaps for many of you, it's been wanting to find yourself in a community, in a group of people, or in a profession. But with this Queen of Swords as your challenge, maybe the thing that's held you back for this long is your own sword, your own guard, your own mercurial mind. When your ruler Mercury goes retrograde, I think you get very, very reflective. And it's going to move into your 3rd house on the 10th of November. The Scorpio energy is actually really good for you. It usually is. It usually helps you say what needs to be said. And if you're dealing with an air sign or a Pisces, I think there's things that need to be said. I think there's been great uncertainty. And after this uncertainty, after the Seven of Cups, after the confusion, comes the Wheel of Fortune. Jupiter in Aquarius, Page of Swords. Gives you options, Two of Pentacles. Options to free yourself from your own gilded cage. You've definitely built yourself a cage, but you've built it perfectly. Knight of Cups. Then, for those of you that are looking for it, love comes from releasing yourself from that cage, from being open. Because, you know, for those of you that are looking for love, or those of you that are looking for a relationship to heal or make peace or something, you know, when Jupiter and Saturn exit your 5th house, it leaves you with that gift. You know, this year has put a big focus on that for you. And it's been to pull you through those energies. With the Judgment card, you know, sometimes your perfectionism comes across as overtly judgmental, and I think you fear that, really, you know, because you know it's a misunderstanding. You know it's not that you're actually judgmental in the way that the human ego perceives it. You know that you're just trying to make things right. But now you see that you can make things right in a way that actually feels a lot more joyful to you and your relationships. 4 of Wands. There's a full moon eclipse in Gemini at the end of the month. The ruler of that full moon being your ruler, Mercury, which is, again, much like the new moon, it's positively aspecting Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn. And so it brings you that change in your creative endeavors, where you lead from the heart, where you lead from passion. And Gemini, of course, is your 10th house, so your big career moves start to pay off. Let's have a look at your oracle. Wow, okay, we had 4 pop out. We have caring connections, much like the 4 of Wands card up here, where you feel like you can meet people and connect to them in a way that feels very authentic. With the Victory card, you start to see with the Judgment that your big changes are paying off in your favor. With the 2nd chakra, Archangel Ariel, you're getting your confidence back with these shifts. And with the Magician in the mirror, you start to realize, Virgo, that everything that's been reflected back at you has had some link to the way your mind has been working. And that's not your fault, because the planets have really been pushing you to do that reflection and really, really think about why you're not connecting with people, why you're not making new friends, or why you're not making headway in some area of your life. But when the joy is injected back into it, the joy is injected back into making connections, to experiencing career change. The joy is connected to just having fun for the sake of having fun, which has been hard for Virgos, I have to say. Having fun for the sake of having fun seems to connect you to the people you need to connect with, because you have that mercurial sense of humor that people need to see to understand you, and to see that you have a wit, you have a way of looking at things, you have a way of perceiving life that is funny. And that's what people are wanting to connect with. That 4 of Wands is a really lovely omen. In November, you just are able to bond with people. And it's a bond in a way, and maybe it's your family too. As the sun shifts into Sagittarius, your family sector, you're able to reconnect with family and put the past behind you. Especially if the past goes very far. You'll be able to connect with people who you know love you. And I'm not saying that's everybody, obviously. You don't have to connect with anyone who's really hurt you. I just mean your relationships in general, the people that you hold dear, the people you hold close. Even if it's a very tricky aspect to an air sign. let's get into your extended, and we'll go into the air signs, the water signs, the earth signs, and the fire signs. Have a wonderful November, Virgo. Bye.